Hi, I'm Melanie Carr, life coach.
I've been thinking more about the more deeper, intimate connections and how to create that deeper intimacy within yourself and with your life partner, or even in a working situation with people that you want to create something a little deeper, a little more intimate. And in order to create the ability to connect on a deeper level, there's only one way that people can manage that, and that is having this deep, authentic, sincere, transparent, and honest connection between them. When the relationship has lies, mistrust, when people are covered in taboos, sexual taboos, cultural, religious, government, all those things, taboos, people are not going to ever be able to connect on a deep, sincere, authentic level. And we've been talking a lot about erotic triggers in the last few weeks of the podcast, and I'm not finished with them yet. I have new ones coming. I have taste and speech and a lot of things I want to cover still. But I want to talk about this deep, erotic, intimate connection that we can start creating with the people around us. And it has to start first with ourselves. We have to start living an authentic, sincere life where there's no more bullshit. We're not staying in relationships that no longer serve our higher purpose. We're not faking it. We're not deceiving and lying people to get things that we need. We're not afraid. We have to get to a place where we've eliminated all of these personality issues, and we've grown and we've become a much higher vibration in our own personalities and our own authenticity within ourselves. Like, am I being the best person I can be today? Have I been honest? Have I been sincere? Am I doing what I love? Am I doing something to get close to doing what I love? And this applies in life, it applies in business, and it also applies to our relationships. If we have desires, if we have erotic thoughts and feelings, and in our relationship, we don't feel safe to be able to share them openly with the person who we're with, if we don't understand our own erotic triggers, and we feel embarrassed or ashamed because we desire something maybe a little weird or strange, and we can't talk about it because it's all bad and taboo. There's just so many blocks. There's so many blockages that stop the energy from flowing in our erotic, creative, intimate energy. So using the triggers to detect those areas where we need to spend some time healing or spend some time analyzing within ourselves, and then take the next step to see if there are people in your life who you can share some of those things with, who you feel safe to share those things with. Are you with a partner that you can share anything on a deep, emotional, intimate level, where you can talk about having conversations, like deep, dark, personal conversations about feelings, about erotic feelings, about ideas, about what you feel, about what you want? Are you even in touch with yourself on those kind of levels? Because if you're not in touch with yourself on those levels, you won't be able to be in touch with the people around you. And how do you want your business or your work to go? Have you told your boss that you feel like you need to have a promotion or take a course or change your personal image? Or like, those are on a more like normal life level. And then in the intimacy, have you thought about some of these triggers and things, and then talk to your life partner about practicing some of them in your erotic relationship, practicing them with yourself? Having a deep conversation maybe about, like, if there is like a auditory trigger that makes you feel really turned on because the person uses a few words that are a little more erotic, a little more sexual, and then they say, several phrases to you that are really sweet and really kind, and they mix it up with a few kind of sexy words, and then like they say that in your ear, and they whisper to you something that just really turns you on. Have you tried to do that with your partner? Have you talked with them about how they would feel if you grabbed them and you said something really sexy, erotic, and maybe a little what we would consider dirty or bad in your moment that you are together, it being acceptable for them or acceptable for you to use some verbal triggers that are a little bit deeper, dark, and then a little bit mixing it up with a little bit of sweet and kind and playful, and changing the energy. And how does that feel when you try that with your partner and have a conversation with them about how would they feel if you, as a woman, if you were to say something that was a little bit more racy, or maybe something that a prostitute might say, and how would they feel if you were to speak that way? And would they be able to understand and accept that you're trying to share your energy with them, and you're not being, you're not acting in a way that the taboos say you're not supposed to be acting? Like, do you have that level of confidence with the person that you're sharing your life with, or with yourself even? To be able to say to yourself, like, you're just an amazing this or this, and then say something loving to yourself about, and then tell yourself that you're just really bloody sexy. And I don't want to do it on the podcast, because I don't want to have anyone's ears hear something that would trigger them to feel something that they don't like to hear. But this is something where you have to have communication, and you have to talk with your partner and with yourself about these different situations and triggers, and how can you get a deeper level of intimacy with yourself and with the people around you. Do some meditations on this if you're by yourself, and have some deep conversations with your partner about the different triggers, about the different possibilities that you can add into your erotic play and your games and your life, and then use that energy to create and to have a special moment. I mean, my goodness, I've had to go out on stage in front of thousands of people and do this podcast right now. And there was nothing I would like more than for my life partner to come up to me and say to me in my ear, my God, you're just a totally amazing erotic, maybe with a few really sexy words, and then just say to me, honey, you're so ready for this. And then just like, imagine hearing that in your ear, and then walking out on stage in front of everyone with this amazing energy, and having this confidence and this amazing erotic energy to be able to give a speech in front of thousands of people. Like, that is a perfect example of how we should be using the erotic creative energy in order to be able to get this kind of higher frequency vibrations and communication, and the ability to be able to inspire and motivate people. It all comes from the basic erotic, intimate, creative energy, which is, and this is where, I might pick on some people's taboos here, but the creative energy in the universe is God energy, universal energy, however you want to call it, depending whether you're religious or metaphysical, or whether you're an atheist and you believe just in, the creative energy of the sun and the planet and the atoms. Like, it all, at the end of the day, it all comes down to the basis, and the main basis of our energy to create in our lives is the sexual energy that we were so terribly taught that was taboo, and that it's wrong, and that it should be separated and pushed away or hidden. And this is where so many people are depressed, and so many people are confused, and their energy is being drained from them. But how can you explain that the beer companies and the cigarette companies are using our sexual energy to motivate us to buy a beer? I mean, we go down the street and we see a huge announcement, and the announcement is got this woman with these huge boobs, and she's holding up beer. It says Tecate. Let's get this beer going here. And there's that erotic creative energy being used to get human beings to buy a beer and drink. So if marketing people are using that in order to motivate people to get their products sold, why are we not using our erotic, creative, and sexual energy to get up in the morning and to move our asses and get our life mission going? Oh, no, because that would be like, yeah, that you don't say that God has anything to do with sexual energy. My goodness. And yet there's some of the most erotic things in the Bible that I have ever read in my life. And it's beautiful. And it's not portrayed as being something that's should be separated or should be, it's a beautiful thing. And yet somewhere along the line, our culture and our belief systems, we were taught, maybe from 2 years old, when little Juanito was in the kitchen with his grandmother, and he sort of, he felt something in his body, and he started to touch himself, and he got his hand slapped, and he was told not to touch that because that's dirty or that's bad. You shouldn't touch yourself. You shouldn't do that in front of people or whatever. And right in that moment, he got that shock of, this is something wrong. I shouldn't do this. When all he's doing is learning about his body, learning about his energy, learning his instead of slapping his hand and telling him bad boy, what happened if his grandmother took him to the table and said, let's draw a picture of a boat? She realizes that he's feeling that energy in his body. Get him to do something creative every time you see your child having those kind of experiences, because it's so natural. It should totally be developed in a natural, beautiful way. It's something that we should never be stopping people from feeling and expressing, and especially in the years when we're forming our childhood and our adolescent experiences. And this is where the separation happens, and this is where people lose their energy, and they become depressed, and they find it hard to get up in the morning, and they find it hard to do anything creative with their lives because they were so disconnected from their own creative, God, intimate energy. This is where this is why this podcast is being created, because I feel like somebody has to start talking about this and showing people more and more how to incorporate their energy into their lives, into their life mission, into even exploring why they're here and what they can contribute in each moment. It doesn't matter if it's just stopping your car and letting a lady with her child cross the road safely. You stop and you let them cross, because that's what the universe put you to do in that moment. And in the next moment, it might be someone coming to the window to wash your window of your car. Well, I live in Mexico, so of course that happens a lot. But, washing the window of your car there, and then you give them, 5 pesos or something, and then, they needed that money. That person, you can just feel it when you should help someone. And when it's not the moment to do that, you know it inside your heart with your connection that you have. And then all your energy is being used as you go through your day. So the creative energy is being used, and it becomes a deeper, more intimate connection, not just with the people around you, but with yourself, and also the connection you have with the universe. Because as you become more and more in touch with your feelings, and you're not blocking them, you become more in touch with your ability to connect and be guided, and to connect with God and the universe, and connect with what you came here to do and what you're supposed to do in each moment. And I woke up this morning and I'm like, why am I up so early? And I came outside here with the birds in the jungle here where I live, and I was like, oh, it's time to do that podcast. And then just pull out the phone and it just starts to flow, and here I am, doing this in this moment. I didn't have the plan to do the podcast in this moment. I don't plan my life so much anymore. I let the universe guide it. And the only way I could do that is if I had removed the fears, the belief systems, the taboos, and all the blockages that keep me unconnected. And of course, the most beautiful and amazing thing about this is once you've eliminated all those disconnects, taboos, criticizing yourself, being afraid of your feelings, it's like once all of that is eliminated, all the triggers, all that you've gone through all of it, then you're able to connect also on an erotic, beautiful, intimate way with the people in your lives. And also, of course, the side benefit could be a really amazing, intimate relationship with someone where you start sharing in a much, much deeper level with that person, feelings and intimacy, and wow, you start getting more creative energy. And if both people start focusing their mind together on a goal, on a mission, on what they came here to do in a partnership, you can really get some really amazing results from using that energy in a positive, creative way. This is what I want to invite everyone to do with their lives. Work on it little by little. And I'm here. If anyone needs help, coaching, questions, please write some messages down below. I'm dying to know what people think about this. And yeah, have a great, connected, erotic, sensual, and amazing day.
Have a great day.